What up YouTube, it's your boy King of Blazing here, back with another video. Today we're going to be reacting to Mr. Nightmare 3 creepy stories, so yeah, let it load first. I'll be back when it loads. Okay guys, are you kidding me bros? Don't do this. Go, okay, here we go. Bro, this music is creepy as hell.
It was an ordinary evening like any other. I was in my room watching TV while my mom was downstairs making dinner. I had my door shut as I usually did because I like my privacy. My room actually...
I know, right? Guys like their privacy, bro, moms don't know that. Or parents,
connected to the attic, because technically my room was never meant to be a bedroom, but it was made into one since I was one of 4 kids. So oftentimes I would hear little cracks in the ceiling just because the attic was right above my room, and there were heavy boxes putting constant pressure on the ceiling, so I was a little used to it. But there was one crack that was just too loud.
Bro, that's creepy as hell.
So loud that it actually made me jump. I almost wanted to pull the attic door down and go up there, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt and assumed it was just pressure. That and the fact that I was also scared to go up there. I was scared of that attic my entire childhood, and I hated having it connected to my room. During dinner, I told my mom about the abnormally loud crack and expressed my fear to her. She told me there's nothing up there besides boxes, junk, and mice. She followed the mice part up with a smile to let me know she was kidding. The rest of the night after dinner, I stayed in my room watching TV and playing video games. Even after everyone went to bed, I was still playing, deep into the night. I had the volume lower so that I wouldn't wake anyone up. We had paper-thin walls in that house. I thought I heard another crack in the ceiling. Not as loud as the one from earlier, but still concerning enough to make me pause the game and listen. There was nothing now. I was having a bit of an adrenaline rush, so I grabbed the stepladder and pulled down the attic door. There was no light up there, you just had to use a flashlight to navigate. I didn't go in though, I just peeked my head in through the opening. There was nothing I could see except piles on top of piles of boxes, so it seemed like it really was just the weight of one of the boxes putting pressure in the ceiling. I planned to tell my mom that we should check it out the next day. I was a bit relieved as I went back to playing video games. I turned the game off about an hour later and finally decided to go to sleep. After a while, though, I started to hear something from above me. It wasn't the regular cracks I was used to hearing. These were more like thumps. They were constant and moving.
Bro, that's hella creepy. I would've screamed and just ran to my parents' room, for real.
It literally sounded like footsteps. The thump stopped right above the attic door, and there was silence. I stared at that attic door so intently, waiting for something to happen. But when I saw the door slowly begin to lift, it didn't feel real. Even though I was expecting something to happen, I wasn't prepared for the door to actually open. I got out of bed as quietly as I could and tiptoed to my mom's room. When I explained, she nudged me to stay in her room as she left to get my brothers. After a minute of waiting in silence, I heard a commotion from my room. It was my 2 older brothers yelling aggressively, and my mom screaming at them to come here. Apparently whoever was in the attic was gone though, because both of my brothers went up there and didn't find anyone. My mom also heard the noises in the attic, but didn't know what to think of it until I came and told her about the door opening. I didn't hear any noises anymore after that day, except for the usual occasional cracks in the ceiling.
Damn. That's hella creepy though, to be honest. Story number 2. Yeah.
For a while I rented out a small single-family house in a town close to my job. It was only a temporary thing. I only planned on being there for a few months at most. The landlord was hard to get along with because he seemed off, so that didn't help things really. It was the first week of my being there. Since it was just me living in the house, I didn't need a lot of space to store things. The house did have an attic, but I never felt the need to go up there. I just stored mostly everything in either the garage, the spare rooms, or the closets. Not that there was much living space, though. One day, though, I did kind of want to see how much space was up there, so I tried to pull the attic door down, but it didn't budge. Then I noticed there was a tiny lock on the attic door. I was never given a key by the landlord, so the next day I called him and asked about the lock. He told me the attic was off limits and was never included in the price of rents. I wasn't exactly sure if he could legally do that, but I was paying a good price and I didn't want to mess it up. The next morning I went to my fridge to grab some milk and then the cereal from the cabinet. As I took the cap off the milk carton, I questioned if the amount of milk in the carton had gone down. Surely I hadn't drank that much. Had I? I guess I took a late night trip to the kitchen that I didn't remember. The next morning, as usual, I came to the kitchen to have breakfast. Everything seemed to be normal, but come lunchtime, it seemed like some of my cold cuts were missing. I had to start to wonder if I was going crazy or if something was actually going on here. Why did it seem like some of my food was disappearing every day? I actually started to look into buying a camera system for the house on the Best Buy website. I did some research on cameras before going to sleep. That night I woke up around 4 and really had to pee. I tried to hold it and just sleep it off, but the urge was too much, so I eventually got out of bed to head to the bathroom. But on the way to the bathroom is the attic door in the hallway. And at first I thought I was seeing things, but after rubbing my eyes, I could see that the attic door was really open.
Bro, that's
All that ran
creepy.
through my mind were the words, "What the fuck?"
Damn,
There was a
boy.
pull-down ladder leading up to the attic. I had to see what was up there. I took a bright, heavy-duty flashlight from my room and went up there. The flashlight was so bright, it lit up a huge chunk of the attic. It was a very big attic for the size of the house. I was surprised. But what surprised me even more was a twin bed tucked away in one corner of the attic, with a clothing hamper next to it. There were also clothes scattered all over the attic. But perhaps most disturbing was the TV mounted on the wall that had my bedroom on display. I guess I hadn't noticed the light from the TV screen because I was holding the flashlight the whole time. But I knew I had to get out of the house. But someone was at the entrance of the attic now, by the attic door. First only their head was visible, but their bodies slowly emerged into the attic until they were crawling towards me. I was able to distinguish the face to be that of the landlord. His expression was so dry and emotionless, it still haunts me to this day.
Boy, that,
As he
to
crawled
be
over
honest, that
to
would
me,
have been
his
happened
eyes
to me
open
as well.
wide. He kept putting one finger to his lips as he said, "Shh." He didn't speak any words. He only went, "Shh, shh." It was a miracle that I was able to get around him in time before he could get to me. I went down the ladder and pushed it up, closing the attic door. I knew he would be out shortly, so I took my phone from the nightstand and ran for it. I ran outside and called the police. The landlord wasn't there when the police arrived, but I had all of his information, and he was found the next day at his brother's house in a nearby rundown town. I moved to an apartment 2 days later, and when I plan on buying a house, I know now I'm going to avoid any houses with attics.
Boy, to be honest, that's pretty smart right there. You do never know what's up there. Really?
Bienvenido.
Really?
Me alegra que estés interesado en
That's
arenas palo.
disgusting.
Aquí
When I was little, my brother, sister, and I always played hide and seek when we were home alone because it made us feel like we had full access to the house and any room could be a hiding place. We always did one seeker, two hiders. The first person to get caught loses the round, or if the seeker didn't find either hider in 5 minutes, they lost the round, and the first to 3 points won. I lost the first round. I still remember that somehow. We were on the second round. I was hiding again. My sister was seeking. My brother and I dispersed from the living room, which was considered the starting room, and I knew the perfect place to hide. Somewhere none of us ever hid before. The attic. It was just a place none of us ever thought as a hiding spot. Maybe I could start using it as my usual hiding spot, I thought to myself. It was a step-in attic attached to a big closet, so there was no ladder or anything. I shut the attic door behind me and tried my best to navigate the attic in the dark. I got about halfway across when I found a box and a big black bag that seemed to be perfect to hide behind. Now I wait, I thought in my head. For some reason, the act of sitting in a dark place doing nothing never got boring when you tagged it under the activity of hide and seek. I felt a rush the entire time, anxious that I'd hear the attic door open and my sister rushing inside. I was kind of subconsciously counting the minutes, even though I wasn't actually counting second for second. It was too dark to check my timer. I figured 4 minutes had passed, so it was almost time to go back downstairs. But just then, there was the sound of a big bag being crumpled. Wait, I thought, did I not notice one of them sneak in here? Maybe it was my brother, but then again, maybe it was my sister. In fear of it being my sister, I didn't want to call anything out. If I just waited out the timer, I'd be good. And sure enough, a few seconds later, the pocket timer started beeping, signaling the 5 minutes was up. So I safely called out, "We win." But whoever was crumpling the bag didn't reply. They did, however, stop crumpling the bag to create an uncomfortable silence. One of them were messing with me, I knew it. I went back to the attic door and turned on the light. As the light came on, I briefly saw the top of someone's head ducked behind a wall of boxes to my left. It was short hair, it had...
Bro, I would've crapped my pants if that would've ever happened to me. I would just ran and screamed, "Get out of the house," to be honest.
...to be my brother, so I called his name in a mocking kind of tone as I walked over to the wall of boxes. I was preparing to jump over it and scare him, but I wasn't the one doing the scaring in the end. On my way over to the boxes, someone stood up from behind the boxes. Not my brother, but a full-grown man, rather. He had his finger on his lips and said, "Don't freak out." That's exactly what I did. I shrieked like a little girl and left the attic in a hurry. I think he followed me to the door and stopped because he didn't chase me down the stairs. My brother and sister were already in the living room. I told them to run outside because there's someone in the attic. I guess they believed me because they hurried behind. All we could do was run to our neighbor's house, who called the police and then our parents for us. I know it's a cliche ending, but the cops did show up and the intruder was gone, which unfortunately meant I could never actually prove to my family, or anyone, that there was someone in the attic that day. But I can assure you, it's true and it did happen.
Damn, that must be hella scary. No, that'll be for next video. That's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoy. If you guys want me to do more reaction videos to Mr. Nightmare, just tell me in the comments down below. If you enjoy, leave a like, subscribe for more. Peace, guys.